back to Race Recap. My name is Jackson. This past weekend, it was all three series racing at the road course of Walkins, Glen. So the Truck Series started us off Saturday morning at the 7-turn road course, running 72 laps. There was no caution brought out on the first lap in turn 1, actually. The 99 of Ben Rhodes spun out after some contact with the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek, and also spinning was the 18 of Chandler Smith. And there was no caution when the 26 of Tyler Ankrum spun through the S's. There was no caution when the 12 of Tate Fogelman spun out exiting turn 4 at the bus stop. The first full course caution was brought out when the 45 of Chad Chastain, actually the younger brother of Ross Chastain, and Chad Chastain was making his Truck Series debut, and he spun out in turn number 1 and backed it hard into the tire barrier. Then when they got back going, there was no caution brought out when the 98 of Christian Eckes spun. Then there was no caution when the 88 of Matt Crafton spun. Then there was no caution when the 3 of Bobby Roode spun. The second full course caution was a Stage 1 winner of Todd Gillen. There was no caution when the 15 of Tanner Gray spun. The third caution was brought out at the Stage 2 winner of Austin Hill. The fourth caution was brought out when the 19 of Derek Kraus made some contact with the 23 of AJ Allmendinger, who's filling in for Chase Purdy this weekend, and Derek Kraus ended up into the outside wall pretty hard. And the fifth and final caution was actually a red flag. It was for lightning around the track, and that did end the race 11 laps early, so the checker flags went to the 16 of Austin Hill. The top 10 here were Austin Hill, John Hunter Nemechek, Sheldon Creed, Todd Gillen, Parker Kligerman, Zane Smith, Tyler Ankrum, Paul Menard, glad to see him back in the truck, Sam Mayer, great finish for him, and Carson Hocevar round out the top 10. DNFs in this race, Norm Benning was deemed too slow by NASCAR. Grant Enfinger, who was in the 9 this weekend, had transmission problems, and Will Rogers in the 41 also had transmission problems. Later that day, the Xfinity Series ran 82 laps at the Glen. There was no caution brought out on lap 1, turn 5, the carousel. It was when the 39 of Ryan Sieg spun after some contact with the 52 of David Smith, who also spun. Smith actually making his Xfinity Series debut. The first full course caution was for the 6 of Michael Munley, also making his Xfinity debut, spun out and slammed into the turn 1 tire barrier, but he was okay. The second caution was the competition caution. There was no caution actually on that restart at the very back of the pack. It happened when the 99 of Kyle Tilley made some contact and ended up into the outside wall, and he came back across the track and was hit by the 5 of Matt Mills, but they were both able to continue. And there was no caution when the 26 of Chris Wright spun. The third caution was the Stage 1 winner of Austin Centric. There was no caution when the 18 of Daniel Hemrick spun. The third caution was the Stage 2 winner of AJ Allmendinger. There was no caution when the 2 car of Myatt Snyder spun. The fourth full course caution was brought out when the 5 of Matt Mills nosed it hard into the turn 4 tire barrier. He was actually avoiding the 52 of David Smith, who went wide, but Matt Mills was okay. And then there was no caution when they got back going. It happened when the 90 of Preston Pardus spun. There was no caution when the 51 of Jeremy Clement spun. There was no caution when the 26 of Chris Wright spun again. The fifth full course caution happened when the 31 of Eric Jones nosed it hard into the turn 6 wall after turning, actually he turned it into the wall because we think he had some brake problems. Then when they got back going, the 6th caution was brought out when the 47 of Kyle Weatherman stopped on track and actually got out under his car while the green was still out, but he was okay. Then there was no caution when the 18 of Daniel Hemrick spun again, and last there was no caution when the 74 of Bailey Curry spun. And the checker flags of this race went to the 54 of Ty Gibbs. The top 10 here were Ty Gibbs, AJ Allmendinger, Austin Cindric, Justin Allgaier, Harrison Burton, Brandon Jones, Noah Gragson, Jeb Burton, Justin Haley, and Sam Mayer are out top 10. DNFs in this race, Kyle Weatherman had electrical problems. Michael Munley had suspension damage from the accident. Eric Jones was out for the accident. Austin Dillon, who's in the 23 this weekend, had chassis problems. The 5 of Matt Mills was out for the accident. The 36 of Alex LeBay had rear gear problems, and Kyle Tilley in the 99 was out for the damaged vehicle policy. Then the Cup Series on Sunday ran 90 laps. There was no caution brought out when the 6 of Ryan Newman spun around. There was no caution when the 2 of Brad Keselowski spun, coming to the competition caution. The first caution was the competition caution. The second caution was the Stage 1 winner of Joey Logano. There was no caution when his teammate, the 12 of Ryan Blaney, spun around. The third full course caution was when the 51 of James Davidson stopped on track. The fourth caution was brought out at the Stage 2 winner of Martin Truex Jr. There was no caution when the 43 of Eric Jones spun. There was no caution down in turn 1 when the 20 of Christopher Bell spun battling for second. There was some contact with the 5 of Kyle Larson, but Bell was able to continue on. And last, there was no caution brought out when the two of Brad Keselowski spun again. He'd been having brake problems all day. When he spun again in turn 1, he actually collected his Penske teammate of Joey Logano, and he also went spinning. And the checker flags in this race went to the 5 of Kyle Larson. He was able to hold off the 9 of Chase Elliott. In the top 10 here were Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Christopher Bell, Kevin Harvick, Chase Briscoe, great finish for him, and Tyler Reddick round out the top 10. DNFs in this race, only one DNF, James Davidson in the 51, had electrical problems. Well, that's all for race recap. Come join us next week on the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series at another road course. It's the Indianapolis Road Course.